Hello, beautiful damsels. The loudest person in the room is often the weakest. Sigmas? They're the quiet ones, watching, calculating, and always 2 steps ahead. And if you think silence equals weakness, you're in for a rude awakening. Studies show that people who are underestimated are more likely to outperform expectations. Sigmas thrive on this dynamic. While others are busy making noise and seeking approval, Sigmas are quietly building, observing, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They don't need a spotlight. They don't need applause. They just need one opportunity, and they'll take it before you even realize what happened. Curious how they do it? Buckle up. This is the side of Sigmas you really don't want to ignore. 2. Number 1. They attract without trying, which makes them dangerous. Sigmas attract people without even trying, and that's where their power lies. They're not flashy, loud, or desperate for attention. Instead, they operate with quiet confidence, and that subtle self-assurance is magnetic. It's not something you can fake. Sigmas don't walk into a room seeking approval. They carry themselves like they already have it. They don't need the crowd's validation because they're perfectly comfortable in their own skin. This effortless allure can catch people off guard. Others work hard to gain attention through status, humor, or charm. Sigmas, they just exist. Yet people gravitate toward them, curious to know more, to understand what's behind their mystique. That curiosity is dangerous. The more someone wants to figure out a Sigma, the more vulnerable they become. When someone is focused on peeling back a Sigma's layers, they're not watching their own defenses, and Sigmas know how to take advantage of distractions. This natural pull gives Sigmas an upper hand in relationships, negotiations, and even rivalries. While others are busy overperforming, Sigmas stay composed, unpredictable, and mysterious. Their unpredictability is a weapon in itself because it keeps others constantly guessing. Is the Sigma plotting something? Are they indifferent or secretly watching? That ambiguity creates a mental tug-of-war that few can win. What's truly unsettling is that Sigmas don't intentionally manipulate this dynamic. They're not following a script to be mysterious. They simply know who they are and don't care what others think. That lack of neediness is what makes them stand out. It's the ultimate irony. The more indifferent they are to being noticed, the more they are noticed. Underestimating a Sigma because they don't chase attention is the first and worst mistake anyone can make. By the time you realize just how much power they quietly hold, it's usually far too late. Number 2. They never announce their next move, they just execute. Sigmas never announce their next move, they just do it. There's no need for them to broadcast their plans, and that's what makes them unpredictable and dangerous. In a world where people constantly overshare their every thought and decision, Sigmas keep their cards close to the chest. Their silence isn't shyness or insecurity, it's strategy. They understand that the less others know about their intentions, the harder it is to counter them. Most people talk about their plans to get approval or feel validated. They want to hear, "That's a great idea," or "You're so smart." Sigmas don't need that. They trust themselves and their ability to follow through. When they have a goal, they quietly map out their next steps, anticipate obstacles, and then strike when the time is right. And when they do, it feels like they came out of nowhere, because they were never on anyone's radar to begin with. This stealth approach gives them a significant advantage in everything from work to personal relationships. They're impossible to predict because they leave no trail. Rivals don't have time to prepare, and those who underestimated them are often blindsided. By the time someone realizes a Sigma has made a move, it's already too late to stop them. What's even more frustrating for others is how calm Sigmas remain throughout the process. They don't boast about their progress or show any signs that they're up to something. They act as though nothing is happening at all, which lulls others into a false sense of security. Sigmas understand that talk is cheap. Anyone can declare their ambitions, but few can execute without stumbling or losing focus. By staying silent, Sigmas avoid distractions and eliminate unnecessary opinions. In the end, their actions speak louder than any words ever could, and those actions are often far more powerful than anyone expected. Number 3. They don't seek revenge. They let consequences do it for them. Sigmas don't waste their energy seeking revenge. They know that revenge is messy, emotional, and often self-destructive. Instead, they let consequences handle everything for them. When someone crosses a Sigma, they don't retaliate with anger or rash decisions. They stay calm, take a step back, and allow life to take its natural course. And it almost always does, because every action has consequences, and Sigmas trust that people's own mistakes will catch up to them sooner or later. What makes this approach so powerful is the patience it requires. Most people react in the heat of the moment, driven by pride or hurt. Sigmas don't give in to those impulses. They refuse to hand over that kind of control to anyone. By keeping their emotions in check, they avoid the chaos that comes with revenge plots. While others are busy seeking payback, Sigmas are focused on moving forward, learning, evolving, and positioning themselves for their next success. But just because they don't lash out doesn't mean they forget. Sigmas have a long memory. They quietly take note of every betrayal, insult, or slight, and adjust their boundaries accordingly. They may choose to cut ties completely or keep someone at arm's length, but they'll never give that person another chance to get close enough to cause harm. And because they've already moved on by the time consequences catch up to the offender, they watch it all unfold from a distance, calm, collected, and untouchable. What's more unsettling is that Sigmas often thrive while their adversaries falter. Their success becomes the most potent form of retribution, but it's never forced or fake. It's simply the result of focusing on their own path instead of getting tangled in negativity. Sigmas know that winning isn't about vengeance. It's about becoming so unstoppable that those who wronged you can't help but regret it. Number 4, they play dumb to disarm you. Sigmas are masters at playing dumb. They don't mind letting others believe they're naive or oblivious. In fact, they prefer it. It's one of their sharpest tactics because it makes people drop their guard. When someone assumes a Sigma isn't paying attention or doesn't understand what's happening, they tend to underestimate them. And that's when the Sigma quietly takes control of the situation. Playing dumb allows Sigmas to stay in the background and observe everything without drawing attention to themselves. They pick up on the small details that others miss, hidden agendas, weaknesses, or patterns of behavior. And because no one thinks they're a threat, they're given access to information and opportunities they wouldn't get if they were seen as too sharp or calculating. It's like being handed the keys to the castle by the very people who think they're in charge. What's most unsettling is that Sigmas know exactly when to drop the act. At the right moment, when it matters most, they reveal just how much they've seen, learned, and prepared. By then, it's too late for anyone to react. The Sigma has already outmaneuvered everyone who thought they had the upper hand. This tactic also keeps Sigmas out of unnecessary conflict. By appearing indifferent or uninformed, they avoid becoming a target for competition or drama. While others fight for control, Sigmas stay patient, knowing they can make their move at any time. And because they've been underestimated for so long, their final actions come as a shock, delivered with precision and often leaving others scrambling to figure out what just happened. Sigmas understand that intelligence doesn't need to be flaunted. They're not interested in showing off or proving themselves. Instead, they let their quiet observations do the heavy lifting. By playing dumb, they turn other people's assumptions into their greatest advantage, and they win before anyone even knows they were in the game. Number 5, they are silent builders. By the time you notice, it's too late. Sigmas are silent builders. They don't talk about what they're doing. They just put their heads down and work. They're not the type to brag about their plans or seek validation along the way. While everyone else is busy broadcasting their every move on social media or fishing for compliments, Sigmas are quietly making progress. By the time anyone notices what they've been working on, it's already too late to stop them. This silent approach is incredibly effective. When no one knows what you're building, they can't sabotage it. Sigmas understand that too much noise invites unnecessary opinions, criticism, or competition. By keeping things under wraps, they stay in full control of their progress. Every step is carefully thought out and executed without distractions or interference. The beauty of this strategy is that people often assume Sigmas aren't doing much at all. Their low profile can make them seem indifferent or unambitious, but that's a mistake. Beneath that quiet exterior, they're creating something substantial, whether it's a career move, a business idea, or personal growth. Sigmas prefer results to talk, and they let those results do all the speaking for them when the time comes. When Sigmas finally reveal what they've built, it's usually met with shock. People are left wondering when it all happened and how they didn't see it coming. The truth is, they weren't paying attention because Sigmas never made any noise about it. They just stayed focused and worked in silence. What's even more impressive is that Sigmas often exceed expectations. They're not interested in just getting by. They aim for excellence in everything they build. And because they don't seek approval throughout the process, they're free to create exactly what they want on their own terms. Sigmas understand that the loudest people rarely produce the best results. By staying quiet and deliberate, they avoid the chaos of public opinion and emerge stronger, sharper, and more accomplished than anyone anticipated. Number 6. They can operate in any environment without adapting to it. Sigmas can operate in any environment without adapting to it. Most people feel the need to blend in, whether it's to fit social norms, follow workplace culture, or gain approval from peers. Not Sigmas. They remain true to themselves, no matter where they are or who they're with. It's not arrogance or stubbornness, it's self-assurance. They know who they are, and they're not willing to compromise that just to make others feel comfortable. This ability is what makes Sigmas so versatile. They can walk into any situation and thrive without feeling the pressure to conform. They observe the dynamics around them, figure out the rules, and navigate accordingly, without ever losing their individuality. Sigmas don't change to suit their environment. Instead, they master how to move through it while staying completely authentic. People often mistake this for aloofness or detachment, but it's not. Sigmas aren't trying to stand out or make a statement. They're simply immune to the need for external validation. They don't care if they're seen as different or unconventional. In fact, they thrive on being underestimated or overlooked because it gives them the freedom to operate on their own terms. What makes this so powerful is how adaptable they seem without actually adapting. They can move through corporate boardrooms, social gatherings, or unfamiliar territories without skipping a beat. But unlike a chameleon, they don't change their colors. They just know how to navigate without getting lost in the noise. This unwavering sense of self makes Sigmas resilient. They're not thrown off by social pressure, judgment, or even hostility. They stay focused on their goals and don't let outside forces dictate their actions. And because they're not constantly trying to fit in, they have more mental energy to spot opportunities, make smart decisions, and stay ahead of the curve. In the end, Sigmas don't just survive in any environment, they thrive. And they do it without ever compromising who they are. That's their quiet, unshakable power. Number 7. They absorb everything, even when you think they're not watching. Sigmas absorb everything, even when you think they're not watching. They have a talent for paying attention without drawing attention to themselves. While others may seem distracted or focused on talking, Sigmas are quietly soaking in every detail. They don't just hear what's being said, they notice what isn't said. Body language, subtle shifts in tone, micro-expressions, Sigmas take it all in, even when it seems like they're not paying attention at all. This ability is what makes them so hard to fool. Most people are too busy talking or trying to prove a point to truly observe what's going on around them. Sigmas are the opposite. They would rather listen and watch than speak. Their silence isn't a sign of disinterest, it's a strategy. By stepping back and letting others fill the space, they gather more information than anyone realizes. People often misinterpret this as aloofness or detachment, but that's just part of the Sigma's advantage. When you don't think someone is paying attention, you're more likely to let your guard down. That's when Sigmas catch the smallest slip-ups, hidden motives, or inconsistencies. And because they don't react immediately, they have time to process and use what they've learned in a way that benefits them later. Sigmas are also experts at piecing together seemingly unrelated details. They don't just notice things, they store them away for future use. Over time, these bits of information come together to form a complete picture. By the time others realize how much the Sigma knows, it's usually too late to cover their tracks or change their story. What's most unsettling is that Sigmas often use this knowledge without ever revealing how much they've observed. They simply act with precision, leaving others wondering how they got the upper hand. Their power lies not in being loud or flashy, but in seeing and understanding everything without anyone ever realizing they were watching. It's a quiet, patient strength that makes Sigmas nearly impossible to outmaneuver. Number 8. They are the final threat because you never see them coming. Sigmas are the final threat because you never see them coming. They don't posture or try to intimidate others. Instead, they operate under the radar, which is why they're often overlooked or dismissed entirely. While others are busy showing off their skills, accomplishments, or ambitions, Sigmas remain quiet and watchful. This low profile allows them to observe, plan, and move with precision without ever revealing their true capabilities. What makes them so dangerous is that they don't feel the need to compete openly. They have nothing to prove. While people who crave attention broadcast their every move, Sigmas prefer to stay in the background, gathering information and waiting for the right opportunity. And because no one suspects them of being a threat, they're often left unchecked. This is exactly what they want. By the time a Sigma decides to act, they've already calculated the risks, identified potential obstacles, and anticipated reactions. Their strike is swift, decisive, and often leaves others scrambling to catch up. It's not flashy or dramatic, it's just efficient. Sigmas don't care about making a scene. They care about achieving their goals, and they do it with a level of precision that's unsettling. What's even more unsettling is how calm they remain throughout the entire process. Sigmas don't let emotion cloud their judgment or rush their decisions. They're patient and methodical, which makes their actions even more effective. And because they've spent so much time observing from the shadows, they know exactly how to exploit weaknesses others didn't even realize they had. The real danger is that once a Sigma has made their move, there's no turning back. They don't waste time explaining themselves or giving second chances. They just execute their plan and move on, leaving others wondering how they got outmaneuvered. In the end, Sigmas are the kind of threat you never see until it's too late, and by then, they've already won. Number 9. They have a ruthless logical edge. Sigmas have a ruthless logical edge that sets them apart. They don't let emotions cloud their judgment or sway their decisions. While most people get caught up in feelings, pride, or the need to prove themselves, Sigmas strip everything down to cold, hard facts. They see situations for what they really are, not what they wish them to be, and they act accordingly. This logical approach allows Sigmas to stay calm in high-pressure situations. They're not easily rattled or thrown off course because they've already calculated their options and potential outcomes. If something goes wrong, they don't panic or get stuck in self-pity. They immediately shift gears, adjust their strategy, and keep moving forward. Their ability to adapt so quickly makes them hard to beat because they never stay down for long. But don't mistake this logic for heartlessness. Sigmas aren't devoid of emotion, they just don't let their feelings take control. They understand that reacting emotionally in critical situations usually leads to poor decisions. Instead, they channel their emotions into motivation, fueling their determination to solve problems or overcome challenges. This balance between feeling and thinking gives them an edge over people who either act impulsively or freeze under pressure. Their ruthless logic also means they're not afraid to make tough calls. If something or someone is holding them back, Sigmas won't hesitate to cut ties. They're not interested in dragging dead weight or indulging toxic behavior just to keep the peace. When they decide something is no longer worth their time, they walk away without looking back. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. Sigmas know their worth and won't compromise their progress for anything that doesn't align with their goals. Ultimately, Sigmas are driven by results, not appearances or approval. They use logic like a weapon, cutting through distractions and staying laser-focused on what matters most. And because they approach life with such a clear, calculated mindset, they often outmaneuver everyone who underestimated their quiet, no-nonsense approach. Number 10. They know when to disappear and when to resurface. Sigmas know exactly when to disappear and when to resurface. They don't stick around in places, relationships, or situations that no longer serve them. If they feel their energy being drained or their presence being taken for granted, they quietly slip away without a fuss. This isn't an act of weakness, it's a calculated move. Sigmas understand that sometimes the best way to regain control is by removing themselves from the equation entirely. Their disappearance is never random. It's a strategic withdrawal that gives them space to regroup, reflect, and recharge. While others may stay in toxic environments or exhausting social circles out of fear of being forgotten, Sigmas have no such need. They prioritize their mental and emotional well-being over social obligations. In their absence, people often realize just how much the Sigma brought to the table. And by the time others notice they're gone, the Sigma is already working on the next chapter of their life, far ahead of everyone else. But Sigmas don't stay gone forever. They know the power of a well-timed return. When they resurface, it's not for attention. It's because they've decided it's the right time to re-engage. They may come back with new skills, fresh ideas, or a completely different mindset. Their return is often met with surprise because, while others may have assumed they were stagnant or forgotten, the Sigma was quietly evolving. This cycle of disappearing and reappearing keeps Sigmas unpredictable. You never know when they'll show up again or what they'll bring to the table. It's part of what makes them so hard to pin down. They're constantly in control of their presence and influence. The ability to disappear and resurface on their own terms gives Sigmas the ultimate freedom. They're not bound by expectations or pressured into staying in places that don't align with their goals. And when they do decide to step back into the spotlight, they're stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever, ready to take on whatever's next. Number 11. They master self-control, making them unbreakable. Sigmas are self-reliant to their core. They don't wait for anyone to hand them opportunities or solve their problems. When life throws obstacles their way, they figure it out on their own. They don't rely on approval, resources, or external support to move forward. This independence is what makes them so unstoppable. Whether they're in unfamiliar situations or facing challenges that would rattle others, Sigmas trust themselves to navigate it all without falling apart. Their self-reliance isn't born out of arrogance, it comes from experience. Sigmas know they can't always count on others to show up or understand their vision. They've learned to adapt, think on their feet, and create solutions out of thin air. While others may crumble under pressure or wait for a lifeline, Sigmas thrive because they never expected a helping hand in the first place. This independence also means they're not easily influenced. Peer pressure, social trends, or conventional wisdom don't sway them. Sigmas make decisions based on their own judgment and values, not on what others think they should do. This clarity of purpose keeps them from wasting time or energy on things that don't matter to them. They're not afraid to stand alone, even if it means going against the grain. But self-reliance doesn't mean they're closed off to collaboration or support. Sigmas value meaningful connections, but they don't depend on them. They see relationships as a bonus, not a necessity. If someone can help them grow or offer valuable insight, they'll appreciate it. But if no one is around, Sigmas will still get the job done without hesitation. This level of independence often leaves others in awe. While most people are tethered to approval, guidance, or emotional crutches, Sigmas operate with the kind of freedom that's rare. They know their path is their own to carve, and they trust themselves to handle whatever comes their way. In a world full of people waiting for permission or direction, Sigmas are already 10 steps ahead, charting their course with quiet, unshakable confidence. Sigmas are a force unlike any other. They don't need applause, validation, or the spotlight to make an impact. Their power lies in their quiet strength, the ability to observe without being seen, plan without announcing, and act without hesitation. They attract attention without trying, disarm without revealing their full potential, and thrive in any environment without losing their identity. Their self-reliance is unwavering, their logic razor-sharp, and their ability to disappear and resurface keeps everyone guessing. What makes them truly dangerous is the element of surprise. They don't play the game the way others expect, and by the time anyone realizes their true capabilities, the Sigma is already miles ahead. They're the silent builders and patient observers who use every bit of information to outmaneuver those who underestimated them. And when they choose to act, they do so with a precision that leaves no room for error or interference. Yet Sigmas don't just move through life as solitary forces, they're deeply intentional. Every action is calculated, every boundary carefully enforced. They know when to step back, when to cut ties, and when to stand firm. Their independence is not a shield, it's a tool, one that allows them to create, evolve, and thrive without external noise dictating their decisions. In a world filled with loud declarations and constant competition, Sigmas prove that the most powerful moves are often made in silence. They don't seek revenge, because success itself is their greatest response. They don't chase approval, because they're already whole. And they don't waste time being predictable, because they've mastered the art of keeping everyone on their toes. In the end, Sigmas teach a valuable lesson. Underestimate them at your own risk. They'll be the ones you never saw coming, calm, calculated, and completely unstoppable. And when they make their move, you'll realize too late that you were playing checkers while they were mastering chess. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mind of the Sigma and want more powerful insights, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Don't stop there. Like this video to let us know you're ready for more, and comment below with your thoughts. What surprised you the most about the Sigma mindset? How have you seen these traits play out in your own life? And if you know someone who could benefit from understanding what it really means to be underestimated, share this video with them. Let's build a community of thinkers, strategists, and silent movers who are ready to take the world by storm. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.